Hey, what's up, you guys? How's it going? Welcome to another edition of the Fight Up TV live chat. As I'm messing around with the lighting here, looks like I'm. This looks weird how I have the lighting from like underneath. Ooh, aliens! Let me try to fix the lighting here real quick. Not having much success, but I hope you guys had a good weekend. And this lighting's still not working. Now I'm blinded. Um, Hope you guys didn't kill each other. Getting those Black Friday sales. And that you didn't spend too much money from all the shopping that you did and all that. Still trying to get the hang of this lighting here, but I'm going to go ahead and chat a little bit about the action that happened over the weekend. Sorry about last week's live chat. We missed it because we were at the wild card. Miguel Cotto was having a media workout. So we're over there, and that's why we didn't have the live chat happening, because the workout, when Cotto works out, he like does a real workout, and I really appreciate that, because you don't, like, for a lot of these media workouts, the guys don't like work out anymore. And when I first started covering boxing, more in specific boxing, because the MMA doesn't really have media workouts outside of the fight week. And there they do like 5 minutes on the pads, or they grapple, wrestle for a good 10 minutes, and then that's it. But for boxing, they used to, when I first started covering, when a fighter would have a media workout, they would have an actual legit full workout where they'd warm up, they'd do rope, they'd do mitts, the bag, and then finish up. And the workout would be anywhere from like maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. Now the media workouts are, they go and they shadow box for a round or two, and then that's it. They do interviews and stuff. So it's changed over time, the media workouts. But what I'm getting to is Miguel Cotto had his media workout last Monday, and he's one of the few guys that still actually works out. Like, will do a complete workout for us. So that's pretty cool to see, because we don't really see that happening much anymore. And the only people that I could think of off the top of my head that has an actual like workout during their media workout is Floyd. When Floyd has his media workouts, they're actual workouts. And watching Floyd work out, that's the one thing I think I am going to miss about Floyd leaving boxing is his media workouts, because you're left in awe when you see him work out. And this was, I had a chance to see Floyd a lot, and in his prime as well. And this dude was a beast in his workouts, nonstop for 3 hours. And I'm not overselling it or overstating it at all. Like, it's legit. Floyd would work out nonstop for 3 hours. And I'd never ever seen anybody do that. No freaking breaks. And if he were to take a break, he'd take a break like 10 seconds to drink some soda and then go back at it. I've never seen anybody work out as hard or as long as Floyd during a media workout before or since. It's just a crazy pace that he has. He'll go on the mitts for like 30, 40 minutes, and then he'll go to the bag, and then he'll switch back and forth, and his jump rope routine. It's just a crazy, frenetic pace, and it just trips you out, because you're there and you're watching him, and you're like, dude, usually, you go 3 minutes, you take a minute break, you go 3 minutes, you take a minute break. That's a majority, and I've been to a lot of people's workouts over the years. I've been covering the sport for a very, very long time. And I've never seen every single person I've seen ever work out, they take breaks. For one exception, and that exception, and he's been taking breaks more lately as he's gotten older, but before, in his prime, he wouldn't really take breaks either, but not to the extent of Floyd, would be Manny Pacquiao. Manny would not take a lot of breaks during his workouts. He'd have a crazy frenetic pace also as well, and he'd just keep going, where they'd have to tell him, hey, slow the fuck down. Like, relax, you're going to overburn yourself if you don't stop. But outside of that, Floyd is just... you're just left there dumbfounded, to be honest. You're just scratching your head, and you're like, how the hell is this guy able to go non-stop, no breaks, drink soda for 3 hours straight? So it's really a marvel to see. But the whole thing is, fighters don't work out for their media workouts anymore. Miguel Cotto still does, so I'm happy for that. that's what we were last Monday. That's why we didn't do the live chat. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in to today's live chat. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend in combat sports. We had someone get knocked out. Someone returned and got a knockout. We had some good fights, and then, good holidays. Ate a lot, shopped a lot. I'm not too happy about my shopping. I bought a bunch of useless shit that I don't need, which, fuck, I have them right next to me, so I might as well show you guys. All right, dude. So, Fight Hub's like full time for me, guys, and it encompasses my whole life, every day. I'm always working on this thing where I don't really have a social life, which sucks. I don't get to talk to a lot of my friends a lot, which sucks. Because I'm always working. I'm always doing stuff for the channel and all that. It sucks so much that I don't even have time to play video games anymore. And if you know me, man, I've been a gamer my whole entire life. And it sucks not having time for anything. But it sucks even more not having time for video games. Because you got the new Call of Duty that came out. You got the new Battlefront that came out. But a bunch of people are hating on it because of these loot crates. Which I think it's funny that the amount of hours it takes to get these things. Or you just pay $10. It's just stupid. The game is already like $80 as it is. And then they're making you pay even more. And I don't know. The whole DLC thing I think is fine up until like they start charging more than like $2 or $3 for DLC for games. But what I'm getting at is I bought a bunch of useless shit over the weekend. Did you guys buy a bunch of useless shit? Let me know what you guys bought for Black Friday or the sales. So, I like Assassin's Creed a lot. Yeah, I know. You know what, CMD? I actually emailed EA. This is something I could share with all you guys, and you guys could tell your friends. I actually emailed the head producer of EA. It took him a while to get back to me, and I asked him, yo, what's the deal with Fight Night, man? Fight Night. What's the deal with Fight Night? A lot of my subscribers are asking or wanting me to ask about if there's going to be a new Fight Night. Is there any sort of push from EA for a new Fight Night? Are you guys working on a new Fight Night? And he sent me an email back and saying, man, I love Fight Night. Sadly, though, there's nothing new on Fight Night. There's nothing in the pipes for Fight Night. So I was like, no! Because I have the last Fight Night. I thought it was an awesome game, but I guess EA's focus has been on the UFC games in terms of the fighting games, and Madden and FIFA. I would imagine the majority of their time is Madden and FIFA, even though Call of Duty's an EA game, so is the Star Wars game. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we gotta just start just emailing them on social media, on Twitter, just keep demanding for a new Fight Night, and hopefully, the demand's so great, they'll listen, and they'll get to work on a new Fight Night. So, yeah, like I was saying, I never have time to play video games. I still haven't even beaten Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and look what I end up doing. Because they came out with a new Assassin's Creed game, I go, and I buy Unity, alright, because I want to catch up, and then I'm like, well, shit, if they're having deals on this game, I might as well buy Syndicate as well. And then I wasn't even planning on this because I was like, damn, alright, that's already 2 Assassin's Creed games deep, alright? And I haven't even finished Black Flag. I'm barely like 10 hours in a Black Flag. And I heard it, like, to complete everything, it takes like 50 hours. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's like working full time 9 to 5 for a whole damn week on a video game, which is, I just can't afford to spend that much time on video games anymore. But then I go and I see Assassin's Creed Origins on sale for like $30. And I'm like, man, no, this is too good of a deal to not pass up. So I'm like 3 games deep in Assassin's Creed, and I haven't even finished Black Flag yet. And I'm like, Jesus, how am I even going to get to any of these games, dude? It sucks. Not to mention, I haven't even touched Dying Light. I still want to play, fucking A, what's the goddamn, The Evil Within 2, even though that was like one of the hardest games I've ever played in my entire life. Freaking stressful ass game. I want to get Call of Duty now. And Hitman, yeah, I played Echo the Dolphin when I was a kid on the Sega Genesis. I got bored with it after a few levels. I don't know. It was a dope game, but I don't know. Ray G, I'm giving you a shout right now. Like I was saying, though, I still got a ton of video games left to do. I want to buy a Nintendo Switch. I still want to play Star Fox on the Wii U, which I have a Wii U. I want to play Super Mario Odyssey and this Zelda game. It's just like too much shit that I can't, I don't have the time for. I also bought this cool little speaker here for $80. If you guys have one of these, let me know if it's any good, because I have a Sound Freak that, I don't know, it's not as good as it used to be. It doesn't bump like it used to be. But let me know what cool shit you guys bought. Trying to buy a new lens right now online, Cyber Monday and everything like that. But yeah, the Ezio editions are the best. I played all the Ezio Assassin's Creeds, so now I'm barely into this new one. But Jesus, man, Black Flag's amazing. I love it. It's cool, but it's just so much time to go ahead and do it in. I don't even have time to watch movies. It sucks. Andrew, played Origins on the PC. A long-ass game, only got through it because I got sick and couldn't work. I hear Origins is freaking amazing, to be honest. Have I watched Narcos? Yeah, I finished the whole 2 seasons, to be honest. So, it was good, even though the second season wasn't as good as the first season, because obviously they're missing a strong protagonist, like Pablo Escobar was in the first 2 seasons. But the Cali Cartel, I expected it to go longer, to be honest. I thought it was going to be 2 seasons. Naturally, though, I saw it transitioning from the Colombian cartels to the Mexican cartels, and I think eventually, if the producers over at Narcos are smart and knowing that there's a lot of attention on Chapo Guzman right now, that they would naturally transition the series over to the Mexican cartels, with it eventually leading to the story of Chapo Guzman. I think that'd be a natural fit for the series. If they were smart, they would do that. I hear they're signed on for 4 seasons, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I know a bunch of talking about a bunch of random things. Just let me know if you guys got any cool stuff, or if I'm missing out on any deals for Black Friday. All right, here we go, man. Recapping the weekend in boxing after kind of blabbling about my weekend. The other thing too, man, I drank way too much this weekend, man. My body feels like shit, bros. Jeez, I can't drink like I used to, guys. One day I'm like, ugh. Now I did three days, man. Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and my body was killing me on Sunday, man. Cannot recover like I used to. I wanted to go in the spa and I couldn't even do that. I can't eat like I used to. It sucks. I used to be able to go to buffets and fucking just kill it 6 plates deep. 6 plates deep at buffets. Now I get full after 1 plate, man. Hitman, yeah, I did watch Quantum Leap. I like Quantum Leap, but you know what I liked even better? Sliders. Sliders was cool. Jerry O'Connell, I like that guy too. Good actor. Okay. We're going to talk combat sports now. Boxing, MMA. Okay. So I had a little issue with Michael Bisping having this fight against Kelvin Gastelum. And just like everybody, when they heard the fight was announced, they're like, what the fuck? You just fought 3 weeks ago against GSP. And no, I don't drink Bailey's, bro. Tequila. Mexican dog. Come on. So he's just coming off 3 weeks off of that fight with GSP where he was hurt. He got knocked down by George. He was choked out. I didn't see any physical cuts or damage on him. But usually what happens, what a commission is supposed to do. But I'll get to commissions and why this fight is taking place and why he ended up fighting on that card, which is what I deduced. But okay, this is for every fighter, and this is probably some insight for you guys. So fighter A and fighter B have a fight, okay? That fight gets sanctioned by the commission. They go and they have the fight. After the fight, they get checked out by the state doctor, okay? And the doctor reviews them, sees what injuries they have, and based on that, they issue medical suspensions. Now, medical suspensions can be as short as, I believe, 6 weeks, and as long as whatever the doctor sees fit according to whatever injury. So even if it's a fight where there's no injury really sustained, I think they still medically suspend them for at least a month. They can't have any contact, any sparring for at least a month, just to be on the safe side for precaution. Okay, so when Michael Bisping fought George St. Pierre, I'm pretty sure, and you know what, I can actually email the Nevada State Athletic Commission and email him and ask for the medical suspension that was issued to him. He got choked out. He didn't take a lot of damage. I would imagine it wasn't a long suspension, probably a precautionary one, but he probably got issued. I'm more than sure that he was issued one, and because of that, he shouldn't be fighting. Okay? Now, if this fight had taken place in the United States, I don't think Bisping would have been allowed to fight. But because this fight happened in China, and I'll just let it be known out there, I know nothing about the Chinese Commission, how they are with rules and all that. I would imagine they have some sort of structure, but I would also imagine because combat sports, fighting sports, doesn't take place very often over there. And, you know, it's a communist government. Everything's seen by the regime there. You don't know if they're really regulating or not. You know, that's the same thing when you go to the casinos over there in like Macau. Like, you don't know if like that shit's being controlled by the government, because it's controlled by the government, so you don't know if the whole shit's fucking rigged over there. And I've been to China for a fight. I went to China to see Manny Pacquiao fight Brandon Rios. So the commission, from my experience, is very laxed over there. They let me in the dressing rooms with both fighters. They even let Pino walk out with Manny Pacquiao, to be honest. So it's very lax over there. So that is why Bisping was able to fight, because I'm sure the commission over there does not follow the commissions here. Usually when a commission here in the United States issues a medical suspension or a fine, or they issue like a recommendation of not having a certain fighter license, a majority of the state commissions will follow the precedent or follow that commission that made those specific recommendations. Because it's the international commission, it's outside of the U.S., I'm not sure if they do follow it, so which is why he was allowed to fight. Now, speaking of the fight, it didn't dawn on me until I really started thinking that these guys used to be sparring partners. I used to see Michael Bisping and Gastelum at Rain Training Center out in Lake Forest, California. And Rain Training Center was Mark Munoz's gym, and he had a really solid team back in the day. I remember going there and interviewing Mark and seeing everybody. He had, back in the day, Jake Ellenberger, Mayhem Miller, it was Mark, Uriah Hall, Bisping, Chael Sonnen, the bald guy that always gets messed up. What's his name? Pat Cummings. Who else? Jay Silva, Rafael Dos Anjos. He just had a solid team over there. And Kelvin would go in there quite often too, because I've interviewed him over there at Rain. So there's sparring partners there, and I'm pretty sure that was in the mind of both fighters, seeing that they used to spar against each other back in the day, years and years and years ago. But Kelvin, man, beautiful. Hey, what's up, Wickedy? How you doing, man? How was your weekend? If you look at the video, and it's the same thing that I brought up with the 3 UFC title fights that happened a few weeks back. These MMA guys, man. And I'll say this. Striking in MMA has improved so much over the years. And these guys are getting better and better. And they're going to continue getting better to where it gets to a point where they're as good as boxers. Or if not, just a little bit less than boxers. That's going to be 20, 30 years from now. But they're getting a lot better. But Bisping, man, why did Bisping get caught with that shot? Okay, you got to look at sometimes when a fighter gets caught with a punch, you ask yourself, well, why that happened? You know, and there's people like me, I can tell you sometimes, because I actually did train in boxing. I took the time out to learn boxing, and I still do it now, even though not in a physical capacity, because I had a lot of injuries. But I did pick up a thing or two from my time training in boxing. So this is what happened. And you can look at the, I think we have the replay up on our social media, on our Instagram. At FightUpTV is our Instagram. Go ahead and follow, guys. At FightUpTV, and follow me at Hey, it's Marcos V. So you see that Bisping in the orthodox stance threw a left straight. No, excuse me, right straight, okay? The right straight comes, gastelum slips, counters with the hook, hook. The first hook lands, the second hook lands right on the chin. Out goes Michael Bisping. Why did that happen? Same reason why Rose Namajunas was able to knock down Joanna multiple times. The same reason why TJ Dillashaw was able to knock down Cody Garbrandt, which led to him winning the title. The same reason why GSP knocked down Bisping, and Bisping gets knocked out for the very same mistake he did in his George St. Pierre fight. I'll tell you why. He throws the straight, does not keep his goddamn hand up. Does not keep his hand up. All those people that I just listed did not keep their hands up in their fights, and they all paid the price. So he threw the straight, has his hand way down here, gets countered, clock clean, he's out. And it's just amazing to see how often we've seen it in the last 3 weeks. You just got to know, if you throw a punch, you can't leave your hands way down. You're going to get caught. And it goes back to the point where these guys, these MMA fighters, are starting to get to a point where they're actually really decent in their boxing. And they're going to keep getting better and better. And people aren't going to be able to get away with that anymore, you know? So Bisping pays the price. Doesn't keep his hands up. I think the last fight Michael Bisping will be with Lyoto Machida in Manchester. Lyoto Machida, another guy that doesn't keep his hands up because of his karate stance. And that's just a style fault because he has so much time in karate in that system that it just, you know, it's not a muscle reflex, muscle memory thing for him. And another guy, that the dude that knocked Machida out, I forget his name. I think it was Brunson, right? Not too sure. Machida goes in, throws a punch. He slips under. Bop. Hits Machida. Yeah, Brunson. Hits Machida. Why does he hit Machida? Machida was expecting the punch. He's moving his head, but he has his hands freaking down to his chest. That's why he got hit. That's why all these guys got knocked down or knocked out. Hands are down. Swear to God. These trainers need to, and this is a true story. I went to a gym once, and I still go to the gym, where there's this guy, and they'd always tell him, keep your damn hands up. And he would never listen. And you know what they did? They put on headgear on his head, all right? They grabbed his glove, got a freaking one of those elastic zip ties, and tied it around. So he would always be like this when he would spar or drill to get it into him. And they left him like that. Every time he go to the gym, they tie him up like that until it became a habit for him to keep his hand right there because he'd always drop his hands. He'd never keep his hands up, and it would cause him to get hit a lot, you know? So that's my point, man. MMA fighters are not keeping their hands up. It's just a basic thing. That's why they're getting caught. Rose caught Joanna with it. TJ caught Cody with it. George caught Bisping with it. Kelvin caught Bisping with it again in 3 weeks. And Brunson caught Machida with it. So, moral of the story, the lesson learned here, keep your goddamn hands up when you're striking. All right. Let's move on to boxing. God, this coffee's fucking gross. Ugh. Jesus. It's nasty. All right. Boxing, where to start? Should I go from the bottom up on the HBO card, or should I just start out with Sergey Kovalev? Let me think here. There's one thing that did bother me about the undercard. Was the Sosa Gamboa fight. And Saunders can very much, I could see Saunders outboxing Lemieux, to be honest. But I could also see if Saunders comes in not in shape or comes in very lackadaisical and Lemieux doesn't respect his power, Lemieux's going to come in and try to rip his head off. Gamboa versus Sosa. I don't know how you can get knocked down and get a point deducted and still win a fight. When, honestly, I didn't think a lot of those rounds were clear Gamboa rounds, to be honest. You know, it's safe to say that Gamboa, you know, his better days are behind him. He's in a rebuilding phase right now. Wants to stay active, and that's been Gamboa's main thing, man, is he'll fight, and then we won't hear from him again for another year. And it's really affected him, you know. The talent's still there. You know, and he's always been a vulnerable fighter. He's always been a little bit too reckless in there for my liking, especially, you know, with the amateur pedigree that he's had, and knowing he comes from that Cuban school. In the Cuban system, the Cuban schools, they're such sticklers for defense, and he doesn't really follow that. He just comes forward sometimes with his hands down, or just willing to go ahead and exchange. Bradley, do I play FIFA 18? No, man, I don't. I don't have time to play video games. This is what I mentioned earlier, man. I bought these 3 games here, Assassin's Creed, and I'm not even finished playing Black Flag yet. I want to play Call of Duty. My cousin just got Call of Duty, World War II. I want to play the new Battlefront. I want to play FIFA, but I just don't have time to do all this shit because I'm always on Fight Hub or always watching fights or trying to lose this fat that I've accumulated over my body. Man, I got to lose like 20 pounds, guys. It sucks. None of my clothes fit. It's terrible. Yeah, I do sound sad, man. Can't play video games. Gaining all this weight. My clothes don't fit me. It's terrible, man. It sucks getting old. Yeah, I weigh 190, bro. It's terrible. And I usually weigh 170. It's just... man, sometimes I just get sad, guys. Okay, back to the fight game. I do run, James. Shit. I've been running 4 miles, man. Just the thing is, I gotta be consistent. I got sick, so I was good for a week, and then I got sick, and I couldn't do shit for like 4 or 5 days. It always happens. I'll be good for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then something will happen. I'll get an injury, or I have to go for a fight for a whole week, or I get sick, and then I can't do anything. I'm 5'9", by the way. 5'9 and a half, Tony P. So the Gamboa fight. I'm gonna be honest. You free game. I don't know, Go Gamer. I don't have any free games. I'd like to. If you want to send me a free game, shit, send me one. Not sure he won that fight, to be honest, but I also, not gonna lie, was not paying attention. I wasn't scoring the fight when I was watching that Gamboa fight. So Gamboa did win some rounds. I felt overall it was a pretty even round if you were to take out the point deductions. But I just can't see how, even if it was a competitive close fight where it could be 1 or 2 rounds, I don't understand how you can get knocked down and then get a point deduction and still come off with a win. So I would have been okay with the draw. The people there that I knew felt that Sosa won. The HBO commentators, I think 2 of the 3 felt Sosa won. Roy Jones said he could have seen it a draw, but you know, it's just when you get knocked down in a fight, it's very hard to win by a wide point margin because you drop 2 rounds, and especially even after that, if they're close competitive rounds, you know, it's really hard to get a decision. The second fight. What was the second fight on the HBO telecast? Oh, Sullivan Barrera against the Dominican. Hey, you know what? I was surprised that Dominican guy can fight. He is actually a lot better than I expected him to be. And what the fuck are you talking about? Are you a boxer? Yeah, Go Gamer. I trained in boxing. Been training on and off in boxing for like 8 years now, dude. Come on. I've always said this about Sullivan Barrera. If he had come in a different time, or maybe even right now, he would have been a really solid world champion. Just so happens he's in a division with Andre Ward, and that's his only loss up to this point. That, you know, it's just luck of the draw. Andre Ward's in your division, and Andre Ward is a special fighter. But outside of that, Sullivan Barrera is a solid guy. I see him becoming a world champion soon. Though he got some monsters at 175 pounds, right? You got these Russian guys that are coming up, and Ukrainians. You got Gozdek, Bivol, Berbiev, and then you got Kovalev. They should do a tournament. And I brought it up to Kovalev. I brought it up to Kathy Duva. Tournament sounds... Showtime, HBO. If any of you guys are watching, I highly doubt it, but if you guys are watching, do a light heavyweight tournament. It'd have to be an HBO light heavyweight tournament. Do a goddamn tournament, man. There's so many names at 175 pounds to go ahead and do so. Now, the main event. Sergey Kovalev versus Vyaschelav Shabranskyy. Let's see here. I had a lot of questions about Kovalev coming into the fight. Questions about his confidence, his mind frame, where he was at, if he was the same fighter, if he had the same swag like he had before, that same killer instinct. What's up, Nole? Talking about Sergey Kovalev right now, that 2-round destruction of Shabranskyy. Getting into that. And I'm saying... I think a lot of you guys had the same questions, if he could be the same Sergey Kovalev. So they put this guy in front of him, and obviously it was I don't want to say a tune-up fight, but it was like a gimme fight, where like the guy wasn't that good. The style matchup between the two guys was beneficial to Kovalev because this guy doesn't have good or really good defense. He comes forward. He only knows one way to fight, which is coming forward and throwing bombs and slugging it out. So that served well for Kovalev. 2 rounds, I saw some things there in 2 rounds that I liked from Kovalev, but Shabranskyy didn't test Kovalev the way I wanted to see him get tested, to have those answers that those questions that I have about him answered, which is, when the going gets tough, how is he going to react? And if he still has that same unshakable confidence that he has in himself when he takes on a guy who's just as dangerous as he is. If he still believes in here that he's untouchable, that he's still the crusher, that no one can touch him after what happened in the 2 Andre Ward fights. I guess time will tell with either Beterbiev or Bivol. Even though Kovalev is very keen in that Beterbiev fight. There's a lot of beef between the two guys stemming from the amateurs. But from the 2 rounds that I saw Sergey Kovalev fight, one thing did come out to my attention that I saw an improvement on, and it was the body attack. He took a weakness that he had, that Andre Ward exposed in their second fight, and he... Hold on, guys. Got to put someone in timeout here. God, I love doing that. Okay. Let's see here. Back to what I was saying. Body attack from Kovalev was nice, and I should have. I seen it during his media workout, and in his media workout, he attacked the body shield with his trainer a lot more. His combinations look to the body at least looked more fluid. So in this fight, we saw him targeting the body even more, which is a smart. It's probably the best thing Kovalev could have done to add to his arsenal. And you have a guy who's a devastating puncher, because we all know that with Sergey Kovalev. The power's there. The power's never going to go away. That's the last thing that goes away in a fighter. And now he was using that power to attack the body. So if he becomes a consistent body puncher, Jesus Christ, man. A guy with that much power, attacking the body, coming forward, and he knows how to box. And I've always said this about Kovalev too. He's a very underrated boxer. He's solid when it comes to boxing. If he were to choose to hit and move back, he'd do surprisingly well. He has that ability to be able to do that. He's super underrated when it comes to his boxing. It's like the little things you notice. Like he'll throw a jab and he'll take a half step back just to get out of the range of the punch. Little freaking things like that tells me at least that he's a lot more solid than what people give him credit for in terms of the boxing. Body punching was great. The post-fight videos of the fight we have up actually on the channel. And you know, Sergey was in good spirits. He's a world champion again. But it seems that eventually we're gonna get Kovalev versus Dmitry Bivol. Bivol is only, what, 11 fights or 12 fights? And he's already world champ. So that, and they have the same promoter too as well. So that's something that's probably going to happen in the near future. Beterbiev is out there, even though I don't think. So we saw Beterbiev on a HBO card, I believe. No, an ESPN card, a top-ranked ESPN card. That's right. That was the Ramirez card. We saw him on there, and they brought it up that he says that he doesn't owe PBC a fight anymore, and that he's out of the contract and he's a free agent. I always thought Beterbiev was a PBC fighter, so when I saw him, I was like, what the hell? What is he doing on ESPN? You know, I thought last time I saw him was on a PBC fight like a year ago. So we'll see what happens there. But, you know, the Heyman guys, we're going to see a lot of them fighting on different networks, I have a feeling, in the next year. They're not just going to be exclusive to Showtime, where if it's a big enough fight and it makes sense, we're going to see them hopping around all over the place to make these fights. So, the Reebok shoe giveaway, I got two things I got to unbox. I got these special edition gloves, like Oscar De La Hoya special edition gloves, like commemorating his 1992 Olympic win. And then we already have one in the can, these boxing shoes that are made out of Michelin tires. Kind of a weird thing. I got to actually edit that one. But the Oscar ones, I just want more gear to come in, because when we shoot these unboxing, I like to all get them done with it in one take and stuff. So, all right, guys, this is where we take it over to the live chat edition of this. So go ahead and ask your guys' questions, and we'll get started with the live chat. And just let me know, too, if you guys bought anything cool or you made any stupid purchases for Black Friday. And even today's Cyber Monday. I got to buy a lens for a camera, but let me know what you guys have bought. This weekend, Miguel Cotto, final fight against Saddam Ali. Let me tell you this about Saddam Ali. And even though I do expect Miguel Cotto to win the fight, I don't think it's going to be as easy as a lot of you guys perceive it to be. I think it's going to be a pretty decent competitive fight for Cotto. Even though Cotto looked phenomenal in his workout, he looked really, really good. The reason why I'm saying that is this. Saddam Ali is a solid guy. Saddam Ali is fast. He has really, really fast hands. And as we've seen Miguel Cotto's career, his career arc, we know that Cotto's always had trouble with two things, or when fighters make him do two things. When fighters make him do one thing, and with an attribute that fighters have that he has trouble dealing with. The first is when you push Miguel Cotto back and you force him to fight on his back foot and make him move around, he can't land his combinations. He can't fight that way. It's not effective to his style. He has trouble when he's moving around like that. The second thing is Miguel Cotto has trouble with fast speed fighters. Case in point, Manny Pacquiao. Even though Manny Pacquiao is a special fighter. Zab Judah had fast hands. Even though Miguel Cotto beat him, there was at certain times fits that he was having in that fight. Shane Mosley, when Miguel Cotto fought him, Miguel Cotto did end up winning, but Miguel Cotto, Mosley was giving Cotto trouble in some spots because of his hand speed. Cotto has problems with fast fighters. Saddam Ali has very, very fast hands. I'm not saying Saddam Ali is going to win the fight. I'm just saying that it's going to be a more competitive fight than what people are expecting. People are expecting Cotto to just come in and blow this kid out. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be a lot more competitive than what we think, because Saddam has really fast hands. Thing is, I can still see him getting knocked out because Vargas was able to set up traps for him and catch him. And Cotto's really good with setting up traps that'll leave the body exposed. And I think at some point, Cotto's just going to break him down and catch him. Okay. I'm going to get to your guys' questions now. Let's see here. Paulie Malignaggi allegedly training with Phil Baroni to fight Conor McGregor in MMA. This is the first I've heard of that, man, but why the hell would you train with Phil Baroni for MMA out of all people? Dude's record is like 30 and like 30. Out of all, he's in New York. He could have gone to the Gracie School if he was going to train in MMA. Yeah, I don't think that's true. I think that's fake news. Because why would you go to Phil Baroni out of all people? Okay, let's see here. Michael Captree, you're funny. Let's see here. Do you think Golden Boy Promotions hung Randy Caballero out to dry? I'm not too sure on that, man. Randy's a good kid. I have a good rapport with him. I like Randy. He's really cool, down to earth. I don't know what's going on with him right now. He had that loss against Diego De La Hoya. I was looking forward to that fight too. I thought that was going to be a really good fight. I didn't expect Diego De La Hoya to be as dominant in that fight as he was. But I'm sure there is some reservations on Golden Boy's part, seeing that Caballero had that fight scheduled with Lee Haskins and he missed weight by like 6 pounds and the fight was dropped. I think they still have that perception that he's not a reliable fighter because of that, even though he made weight in this last fight. So I'm not really sure what's going on with Randy at this point. He's a good kid though. Okay, let's see here. More of your guys' questions. Make sure to follow us at FightUpTV on Instagram and Twitter at HeyIt'sMarcosV. For me, on the same thing. Combat Fanatic. Yeah, apparently he's training under Phil Baroni. Yeah, it makes no sense for me whatsoever. What the hell? Why would you pick Phil Baroni out of all people to help train you in MMA? Phil Baroni's doing like pro wrestling right now. That makes no sense. Man, I wish I had like a co-host or like a friend that I could like chime in on. I think these chats would be so much more entertaining if I had someone else to like kind of riff back and forth with. Wickedy! All right. Marcos, I saw a video of Anthony Joshua get knocked out in an amateur fight. Today, he got knocked out in the first round with one punch. There's been a lot of people that got knocked out in the amateurs. Lushan Bute got knocked out, but Gennady Golovkin in the amateurs. It doesn't say much. It's the amateurs. Yeah, okay, I understand they have the headgear and all that, but Joshua can take a punch. We've seen that he could take a punch. When he got hurt by Dylan White, when he got hurt by Klitschko, he took those punches. With White, he didn't fall down. He was hurt, but he didn't fall down. With Klitschko, yeah, he got knocked down, but he got back up and finished Klitschko. So, I wouldn't pay too much attention to it, to be honest. It happened years and years ago. If anyone gets caught the right way, regardless of how big of a puncher they are, you could have pillow fists. But if you hit a guy just perfectly on the chin right here, your chin can only take so much. Only so much PSI per square inch that you're going to go to sleep regardless. So, I don't really take too much to that, to be honest. UFC MMA boxing news. Marcos, just wanted to say thank you for making your channel. You've been a good inspiration and role model to us, and part of my channel is based off your format. I appreciate it, man. Why, thank you. Let's see here. I hope it's a rumor. Me too, Jello. I hope it's a rumor. And Epic Gamer Plumley, I'm sorry all your popcorn's gone, bro. Just go and pop some more popcorn, playa. Harry! What up, Harry? I'm going to get to your question right now. Harry asks, what do you think about Freddie Roach training George St. Pierre? Do you want to see him work with more UFC fighters? We've seen him work with a lot of UFC fighters already. We're a lot of MMA fighters. Over the years, there's been a lot of people that have gone to the wild card, and Freddie's worked with them. Off the top of my head, Michael Bisping's been over there, but I don't think Bisping's ever done the mitts with Freddie. George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, Paige Van Zandt, Uriah Faber, Tyron Woodley. But I don't think Freddie's worked with all those guys. I think the only people that I really know that Freddie's actually worked with have been George, Anderson, and I think Aaron Pico. I'm not too sure. Maybe Marvin works with Aaron Pico, but these guys can only benefit from training with Freddie, and I actually do think it's a good thing. I'm a fan of combat sports. Like I still don't understand how people hate on both sports. If you're an MMA, or people say if you're an MMA fan, you can't be a boxing fan, or if you're a boxing fan, you can't be an MMA fight. Man, what's wrong with enjoying a good fight? A good fight's a good fight, regardless of what sport it is in. If it's boxing or MMA, yeah, I understand how the grappling could be boring to some people. because they don't understand it. You haven't trained in it, and I could totally see that. The same thing with a casual an MMA fan who's casual with boxing goes in it and sees a very technical boxing fight, and they're like, man, this is fucking boring. I don't want to watch this, because they're not educated about the intricacies of both sports. For me, because I've wrestled my whole entire life, I did jiu-jitsu for a few years as well. So when a fight goes to the ground, yeah, I get impatient. I'll be like, God damn it, like do something. But when they're doing little things on the ground, I know what they're doing, and that makes it interesting for me. Unless it's Damon Maya or Tyron. Sorry, Tyron. Tyron's the homie. I like Tyron, but sometimes his style is really boring. And same with boxing. But I think it's a good thing for these MMA fighters to seek out these boxing coaches, because I see in 10, 15, 20 years, these MMA guys getting to a point where their skill level, I don't think their skill level will ever be on par with an elite world-class level boxer, because a elite world-class level boxer has dedicated his life, his time, hours and hours upon the craft of pugilism. That's their thing. They are a master of one thing, and that is stand-up fighting. An MMA guy has to walk a fine line with balancing jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, wrestling, and boxing. If you start them out young, though, you can get to a certain level, I think, a certain aptitude where they would be competitive with an elite level boxer, but I don't think they'd ever beat him. But the skill level is coming up and getting better and better. So I think it's a very smart thing for these MMA fighters seeking out attention, because it's only helping them out. Yeah, Jello, you are right. A lot of MMA fighters do come up to the wild card, actually. UFC MMA boxing news. Saddam Ali is a beast. He just made one mistake and Vargas took advantage and won. Yeah, Vargas timed him, man. Set up a trap and timed him. So, that's what I'm saying. Saddam Ali is not going to be a walk in the park for Miguel Cotto. It's going to be a tough fight because of Saddam's speed. He's good. Even though I expect Cotto to win, I don't think it's going to be an easy win, though, because Cotto always has trouble with fighters that have fast hands. And Saddam Ali has really fast hands. Nah, James, he has a chance. I don't think he's going to win, but he has a chance. Bradley Tucker, Arsenal fan, huh? Do you think Jack is a bad matchup for Sergey Kovalev? Yeah, I would say on the surface, because Badu Jack's going to come forward, going to crowd him, and is going to work the body. And we've seen Andre Ward do that, crowded Kovalev. No, you know what? Andre Ward boxed Kovalev, but this guy's known for his power, okay? And if you crowd the guy, he can't get full extension on his punches. So you want to crowd the guy. And we've seen that body work does affect Sergey Kovalev a lot. So that's actually a good style matchup for Badu Jack. Thing is, can he take Sergey Kovalev's punch? And the other thing is, well, Badu Jack's a Showtime guy. Kovalev's an HBO guy. That sucks. I wish it was like how it was a few years ago, where they would make a fight and they would just bid it out to the networks. And whoever bidded the highest would get that fight. I wish it went back to that, because at least when it was being done like that, it didn't matter if who was with who or where'd someone go. Because now the networks are signing these guys to exclusive contracts where they have to fight on their network. And before, it was just they'd make a fight and whoever bids the highest for it. Phil versus me for WWE Gold. Arthur, yeah, she's bad. She's a good-looking woman. Spence versus Thurman. James probably won't happen until 2019. Jello saw Randy Caballero in Walmart. Okay. Harry, yeah, there's a rumor about Mayweather coming back. I read that story on Bleacher Report. I don't believe it whatsoever. But you never know with fighters. They always say they're going to retire and then they come back. It's like Andre Ward. You know what? I'd love to see Andre Ward come back. I think he'll come back. But if he stays retired, props to him, man. Because a lot of guys can't stay retired, and a lot of guys don't leave on their own terms. They let the sport retire them. They don't retire from the sport. And that's the sad thing when you see your heroes, or you see guys that you look up to, and the last image you have of them is that last fight. And more times than not, they get their ass kicked, or they get knocked out, or they get beat up, and that's the last image you have in your head. It'll always stay there with you, man. And it's just sad. It's just a sad thing because you follow them their whole career. You've been with them through the ups, through the wins, the knockouts they had, and you know that's the last thing you remember them of. You know, Oscar with Manny, Sergio Martinez with Miguel Cotto. You know, that's the last thing you remember of them. So, yeah, I hope he made the right decision. And if he comes back, I don't think that'll happen to him because he has so much freaking skills that I don't think anybody would be able to do that to him. But, you know, when someone says they're going to retire, you know, stay retired because they came to that decision. You can't have like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you know. Anyone ever mention you look like Ken Florian? Do I? I don't think I look like Kenny. I've met Kenny before. Kenny's a cool guy. Let's see here. Marcos, do you think Kovalev and Adonis Stevenson will ever fight for the WBC title? Yeah, I don't think so. Stevenson, how many years have we been talking about this fight? Like 5 years? Stevenson versus Kovalev? Or 6? No, wait, 4 years. 4 years? One guy's Showtime, PBC, the other guy's HBO. You know, man, Stevenson was on such a roll. Had so much momentum, had everybody talking about him, and damn, man. The way he was managed with the fights and all that, he's becoming relevant, and it's really sad because he could have been really big, and he should have taken that Kovalev fight, you know, because he had a good chance of winning that fight. I still think that dude's the most explosive guy in that division. Power-wise, that guy's a murderer power-wise. Nobody punches as hard as that guy. And it's like instant snap coil power. It's just fast twitch muscles like a motherfucker with that guy, man. So hopefully we'll see it. You know, usually when this is what happens with fights that we want to see or we talk about. They build it up so much so it gets to a point where we finally see the fight and they're like past their primes. And it's like, you know, like this would have been great 3 years ago. And that could end up happening with that. It's already happened with that fight, so I don't think we're gonna see it. Let's see here. Even Pac-Man got stopped a few times in the beginning of his career. Yeah, he did. Wickedy. No, man, I haven't seen her in a long time. Q Boxeo. Who do you think is the best boxing trainer right now? That's actually a really good question, man. I think it all comes down to your style, really, to be honest, in terms of getting a trainer. If you're an aggressive, come-forward fighter, you should go with a trainer who's trained fighters like that. Guys like Robert Garcia, like Joel Diaz, they're good for that style. If you have a more defensive style or a more technical style, you know, guys like, let's see here, Virgil Hunter, let's see, who else? Ronnie Shields, the Cuban guy Pedro Diaz. I think that would fit more your style. If you're just offensive, Freddie, you know, you go to Freddie for that. So it really depends on your style as a fighter, which trainer fits well with you. You know, they're all good trainers. They've all trained world champions. They've all built fighters into world champions from scratch. So that tells you that they're doing something right. They're all great trainers. Let's see here. Reza H. Do I watch Glory Kickboxing? If not, you should. I do watch Glory Kickboxing, but very casually. I enjoy kickboxing. I think it's great. It's never on, and when it is on, it's on ESPN3, and it's very hard for me to get a hold of ESPN3. But that's actually, not gonna lie, one thing I wish us as a channel featured more on here and covered more. Would be the kickboxers, the Glory guys. We've had Joe Schilling on here before on the channel and done training stuff, but you know, help me out, man. Is there any Glory guys here in Southern California? Any kickboxers we should get? Let me know, bro, because I'd love to get them for the channel. That's one thing that I'd love to feature more is more kickboxers from Glory and K1. Marcos, Ancajas in Belfast was an animal. Yes, Gary, dude, you're right, bro. Ancajas is really good. He put Colin to school in that fight. I'm really interested to see what he shows now in his other fights. That fight for me put him on the map, for at least for me, to want to see how he goes in his career with fights. He very, very solid, good fighter. James the Beast Wilson. I'll look for him, Wickedy. Yeah, no, I like Glory. Horatio Garcia, did not see his fights. Let's see here. Yeah, the Kovalev was only 2 rounds. We talked about it. James Hurtado, what's up, bro? Good videos last week with Code and Freddie Roach. Thanks, Gary. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I do have that 5 o'clock beard, even though it's 2:25 Pacific time here in California. Wickedy seems to think that Mayweather is going to return in 2018. Even though on Instagram Live... Oh, wow, he read your comment on Instagram Live. That's pretty cool, bro. All right, yeah, Gary. So, all right, have you guys been watching this I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out episodes with Amir Khan? Those things have been freaking hilarious, dude. Oh, my God. So, I've heard from, like, my friends that... Well, this show's actually been a good thing for Amir, I think, because they're getting to see... The people in the UK are going to see a different side of Amir Khan. But I have friends telling me that Amir Khan, because he's not really well received in the UK, people think he's really cocky. So they've been voting him for like every single challenge on this show. Like the most worst and horrible things, they've been voting for him to do it. And he's been doing them all. I've only seen 2 episodes of it. The one where he is walking across the building, and then the one where he pulls out the snake and he's screaming like crazy and he runs out. I didn't see the one where he's in the tank and the crocodiles are swimming next to him. So I got to see the next ones. But I've been hearing that that show's hilarious. That it's funny, like watching him do all that stuff. Kell Brook, if he fights Kell Brook, everyone's been asking for it. The fight's gonna happen. There's so much money at stake, but it's gonna happen like at the tail end of both their careers. I think it could be like the last fight or the second to last fight. Comeback Fanatic, yeah, man, that is the theme. Adam Wolf, oh man, Adam Wolf will get you in shape. She will get you in shape. Oprah Winfrey, I don't think that's Oprah, but hey, thumbs up, Oprah. If that's the real Oprah Winfrey, please invest in my channel. You get a channel, you get a channel, you get a car, you get a car. All right, Cyborg or Holly Holm, who do you got, Marcos? Asked by Bradley Tucker. Okay, so that Cyborg versus Holly Holm fight. That's a fight where styles do matter in that fight. And I'm just going to say this. I could see Holly Holm winning that fight. And you know what? I might put money down on Holly Holm. I'll tell you why. Cyborg is hyper-aggressive, comes forward. Holly Holm is a counter-puncher. She moves around. She waits for the other opponent to make mistakes. She did it in her fight with Ronda Rousey, who is a hyper-aggressive fighter, though. Not as versatile striking as Cyborg and not as good hands as Cyborg. Cyborg's going to come forward and she's going to throw. Thing is, can Holly take that punch? I think she can. I think she's been hit by bigger girls in her boxing career. Harder punchers in her boxing career. I see her winning that fight, man. It's a good fight, man. It's a bad style matchup for Cyborg because she's going up against a counter puncher, and Cyborg's comes in line, straightforward, intense pressure. So you know what? That's a smart bet to put your money on Holly Holm for that fight. So I'm reading your guys' comments. If you guys are just tuning in, we've recapped the Michael Bisping fight already and talked about Sergey Kovalev, just round 2 destruction of Vyaschelav Shabranskyy. Go ahead and give us a follow at FightUpTV on Twitter and Instagram, and at Hey It's Marcos V for me personally, for my Instagram and Twitter. We're doing the fan Q&A portion right now with all you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see here. Do you think people will duck Spence till he can't make 147? I don't think... Well, certain guys can prolong the fight, that's for sure. But I think we're seeing with PBC that they just throw him in there because they don't have enough dates. That any fight these PBC fighters get, they're in for like a tough fight. They just throw him in there because they don't have any dates. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of that happening. Glory champ Rico Verhoeven. Well, Garrett, do any of these guys train in Southern California, or like, you know, send me a DM on Instagram, all right? And let me know the top guys and where they train at. Let me see if I can get some footage of these guys, because I'd love to feature these Glory guys on the channel. Kevin Ross. Okay, where's Kevin Ross at? Let me know. Is Mikey Garcia fighting Robert Easter in January? I am not sure. I know he is fighting in January. I know Robert Easter was mentioned a lot. Possibly. I would say a strong possibility. Gary, yeah, I hear it's hilarious. I'm watching the shows on YouTube and stuff like that. They've been really funny. Jacobs versus David Lemieux. So we have this interview up on youtube.com/FightHub on our channel right now with the trainer of Danny Jacobs, Andre Rozier, saying that they actually want the winner of Lemieux versus Saunders or Charlo. So it's middleweight's very interesting, even though Canelo and Golovkin are slated for that May rematch. All the other guys involved in that division are making it really interesting. No, Max Boogie, that's not a good idea. Lucia Riker tried to fight a man, and she got knocked out really, really bad. If you guys haven't seen the fight, look it up on YouTube. Lucia Riker versus man. She fought like some Muay Thai champion, and this guy was like legit, like the best at the time. And this guy just, geez, it was really hard to see. This guy lands like a hook on Lucia and just flatlines her like really bad. I think it ended up breaking her jaw. No, women should not be fighting men. We're just built differently. Even though these women are badasses and they would kick the shit out of normal average Joes that are men, it's a totally different thing when it's against a man who's an athlete and who's been training in this sport for a very long time. It's a very different thing. Normal dudes, they beat the shit out of them, but guys that have actually been training, it should never ever be in the conversation. Ko Matsuda, do you think Andre Ward has a chance at cruiserweight against guys like Usyk and Gassiev? Yes, I do. I think Andre Ward has a chance against anybody he fights, even in heavyweight, but it depends on the right heavyweight. But I would favor Andre Ward in just about, if he were to fight with Usyk, I'd favor Andre Ward would be the favorite. If he had a fight with Gassiev, Andre Ward would be the favorite. If Andre Ward had a fight with Joe Parker, I'm not too sure if he'd be the favorite. He might be even. If Andre Ward had a fight with Anthony Joshua, he would not be the favorite because Joshua's just the Incredible Hulk. So, yeah. All right. Canelo versus Charlo. I'm saying it here. I'm saying it now. Charlo beats Canelo. Charlo versus Jacobs. It's an interesting fight. I want to see someone really put it to Jamal Charlo. Like, pressure him nonstop in his face, banging to the head, banging to the body, making it a rough fight. I want to see what he has inside of there. And I really, really want to see him go up against a guy who's just going to put him in the shit, you know. Is Danny Jacobs that guy? He could be. But I could also see Danny Jacobs trying to move in and out for that fight as well. Yeah, Gary, Lucia was an incredible fighter, man. For me, Lucia is the GOAT for women fighters. There's no one that could touch her back in the day. Russians react. Why are you skipping my question about Tevin Farmer versus Kenichi Ogawa? Wasn't skipping it, man. I'm not too familiar with Kenichi Ogawa. I've never seen him fight. I haven't even heard of the guy. So I can't really give you my insight on that, to be honest. So, yeah, sorry about that. Prospect of the year so far in boxing. Ask Steve Saldivar. All right, Steve. I'll call you Super Steve, okay? Is that cool? Okay, cool. All right, Super Steve. Prospect. It's a good question. The one guy that comes to mind is King Ryan Garcia. That guy's had a freaking great goddamn year. Has a lot of eyes on him, a lot of momentum. It seems every time he fights, he gets a knockout. Even though the competition, he's like here, like skill-wise, okay? Kid's fucking good. And then competition's here. They're slowly building him up. Harder and harder and harder fights, which they should be doing. Any promoter should do. Bring your guy along little by little by little. each opponent has a little different look or a different tool that he's never seen before in a fight. You know, that's what you're supposed to do with a young prospect. I believe he's like 11-0 or 12-0 with 11 knockouts. So I think he's been one of the prospects that I've been really, really keeping my eye on. Bivol, 12-0, world champion already. That's another guy you definitely got to keep your eye on as a prospect. So those are the two guys that, well, you know what? He's not a prospect anymore. He's a world champion, so throw that out. What's another guy on the rise? Virgil Ortiz. This dude can punch. Look him out. He's trained by Joel Diaz, I believe. So he's a guy on the come up. He's a solid dude. And what the hell? Grape drink. Yeah, Steve. Well, Josh Taylor, I wouldn't consider that guy a prospect anymore. He's a contender. He beat a former world champion in Miguel Vasquez, so he's not a prospect anymore. The dude's a contender. You guys have the funniest names sometimes. Grape Drink 666. Naoya Inoue is a beast. He is. That's why they call him the Beast. The Racer Nerd. All right, I'm gonna get to your question right now, bro. Do you see Gamboa? For me, Gamboa looked a little fatigued. Could have done better, especially against Sosa. On my opinion, what do you think? I think Devin Haney, yeah, another good prospect. That's very true. You know, Gamboa. Let's man, where do I start with Gamboa? He's not in his prime anymore. That's for sure. You know, he's older. He's not. It's just not in his prime anymore, man. It's just, you know, age and inactivity really affected him, man. Leaving Top Rank, going to 50 Cent. 50 Cent screwed his career up, man. 50 Cent didn't have him active. He fought that Filipino guy on the Pacquiao card. That Filipino guy, I think, knocked him down. And then he left. 50 Cent couldn't get fights. And then they sacrificed him to Terrence Crawford, even though he did well against Terrence Crawford. But Terrence Crawford is like Floyd in terms of, like, he's gathering information, gathering data, computing it. And yeah, he had trouble for like the first 3-4 rounds, but after that, Crawford put a hurting on Gamboa. Crazy fight though. I would have loved to have been in that fight in Nebraska. That atmosphere was crazy. But I think, you know, his better days are gone. I think Gamboa still has enough skills to be a world champion with the right style matchup, but he's fighting guys at 130 pounds. I think he's a short guy with short arms. And these guys at 130 pounds, even though they're not that much taller, they do have a little bit longer reach, and I think just they're naturally bigger. You know, I think he's an inflated 130 pounds at this point. Let's see. Yeah, it is Jello. That's on him for following 50. 50 offered him a shit ton of money, though. That's why. Gamboa versus Juanma in 2010. That's a fight that, man, I wish we could have gotten. That would have been a great fight. Both guys would have gotten knocked down. It would have been a slug fight. In 2010, man, Gamboa was a beast. But you know what, man? I see Juanma. I think Juanma would have stopped him, to be honest, back then. You know? I could see him stopping him. Because Gamboa gets so damn reckless when he's throwing his punches and he leaves his hands down. And Gamboa at that weight, Juanma at that weight, was a crazy freaking puncher for a little guy like that, man. I don't know where these little guys get these fucking power from, man. You see these guys at 130, 126 pounds that are punching like they're freaking middleweights, man. It's crazy. All right, let's see here. More questions. Patty Barnes. Skype interview with the Marcos. Gary and Patty Barnes? Yeah? I don't know. I'll look into that then. Thing is the time difference. Like, I'd have to do the interview at like 4 a.m. with them, or something like that, which I don't mind doing it for you guys if you guys would be willing to watch the interview. Maybe I'll reach out to Patty Barnes. Looks like a funny guy. Grape Drank. What's up with Triple G? Have not seen him do an interview since the Canelo fight. Triple G's on vacation. He was just in Mexico giving gifts to the kids there, hospitalized children. He did an interview with Ring, you know, in Russian. He let out a lot of pent-up frustration with them and stuff. Excuse me. With them, so, you know, he's just waiting. He's just waiting. The Racer Nerd. Best counter puncher ever. Who do you think is the best counter puncher ever? Let me know. Yeah, even though I don't think Shar does well against Joshua or even Parker, to be honest. The Grim Reaper, hello, I'm new here. Well, hello, hi, welcome to the channel. You came into our tail end of the live chat. Yeah, he did get trashed in the comments. I don't know why. He's doing a nice thing. Let's see here. Give a kid a belt. Yeah. McGillicuddy. This is the Fight Up TV live chat, bro. So we've been live chatting about the weekend action in combat sports. We went over Bisping getting knocked out because he can't keep his hands up and why he was even taking a fight 3 weeks after losing to George St. Pierre, where he was knocked down by George because the commission in China doesn't follow the rules. We also talked about Sergey Kovalev open him a can of whoop ass over the weekend, knocking out his dude in 2 rounds. So yeah, we've been recapping it, and when we recap, we go ahead and we do live chats where you guys just ask questions and comments, and we just talk about shit, random shit. We talked about video games earlier and how much stupid purchases I did over the weekend for Black Friday, and how I don't have any time to play any video games because I'm always on Fight Hub, the Fight Hub grind. So yeah. Bisping fought this weekend. What the hell? Yeah, he got knocked out, bro. That clip went viral. It's on our Instagram at Fight Up TV. Look at it. He got countered. Fucking it was a bad knockout. Jello, have I ever tried the tennis ball on the string? No, but I've tried the tennis ball, bouncing it around in the ring and moving around for your hand-eye coordination. The Racer Nerd, Dragon Ball Super. Let's talk. You know what, buddy? It might be that time for Dragon Ball Super. We've been on for an hour and 11 minutes. But let me see. Blue Tupac Topics. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate the love. Okay. Do you think Mikey Garcia has to go to welterweight to make himself into a real prize fighter? No. No, he doesn't. He's already a big draw. And I think, 140 is perfect for him. And, honestly, I don't know. I get the sense that I think he still can make 135, to be honest. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, he did. Let's see here. Assassin's Creed Origins. I have no idea how to live stream. I was playing around with it. I have to buy like a video recorder to be able to live stream video games. And the stupid webcam that I bought, the Logitech, doesn't work too well on the Mac, because I work on a Mac, and I'm learning that a lot of the live streaming software is not very great, or you don't get as many options as opposed to like PC. Because if I'm doing a live stream, I want to be able to like black out the background and show what I'm looking at to you guys, how it looks with all the other gaming channels or all the other gaming live streams. I also have like some really cool ideas that I want to do with that's boxing related, but I gotta mess around with my PC. And I might have to end up buying a new PC. Like, I'm so macked up at this point that I don't want to switch over back to PC. But I've been thinking about doing a lot of live streaming stuff. So, let's see here. Okay. One thing I asked, plus tell every streamer, is I'll sub if you don't smoke stupid cigarettes. No, I'm against that, bro. I don't smoke cigarettes. I do, though, eat a lot of cookies, which is probably why I gained weight. Okay, let's see here. Wickety split. Yeah, was that the radio show interview that he did? Because if it was the radio show interview that he did, yes, I did listen to it, and he ripped into it. I was actually thinking about texting John David and asking him if he wants to do an interview, because he keeps saying like, oh, like a lot of crap's coming to Kovalev. Oh, you watch, I'm gonna like expose him. He keeps saying all that stuff, so I'm hoping we're the ones that he's gonna say all that stuff to. All right, going through more of your comments. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in and staying with us as well. UFC 3 game. We could stream play it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Katie Taylor headlining a card in England Saturday. First woman headline card there. Yeah, that's true. Gary, I'm trying to think. I think Lucia Riker headline a card over here. Well, Ronda Rousey. It's been a lot more women that have headline cards over here in the U.S. It was an interview with Fight Hype. Okay, all right, yeah. I'll go ahead and reach out to him. Cookies, yes. Okay, well, hey, Grim Reaper, what's your buddy's name? And I'll wish him a happy birthday. Eric Donovan, Andy Lee training my friend. Okay. Yeah, it's I got that impression. Grape Drank. Kovalev seems to be a lot more humble and more grounded. It seems like I think the loss. He really learned from the loss, and he's really in a better place, like mentally. He admitted to me of drinking. This is like the funniest thing. Okay, so he has the media workout, all right, in Santa Monica, and I'm doing the interview with him, and I forgot what I asked him, but he's like, "Yeah, man, I love beer, but I had to get rid of all that. Like I would drink a couple beers a day, after training." And he's like, "Yeah, that's normal for me." And I was like, "What the hell? How can you be a world-class athlete at your level and drink like a few beers a day?" Like I'm just like, "What the fuck?" So like, were we getting drunk Kovalev all these years? Like, like Jesus. Like Saturday night was like the appearance of like sober Kovalev. If that's sober Kovalev, holy crap, like fuck. But the funny thing too, during the interview, was he said he would drink like 2-3 small bottles of vodka every day, and it's like a normal thing. Jesus Christ, this dude have an iron liver or something? God damn, I take 2 shots of vodka and I'm like flipping tables and like doing crazy shit. This guy's drinking 2-3 bottles of vodka, man. This is crazy. Ringnow smokes cigars. Wow. Okay. I did not know that. The only fighter that I know that smokes cigarettes, I heard Kovalev smokes cigarettes, but the only other one that I've heard that does that is Ricardo Mayorga. Yeah, true story. Let's see. Archie. Well, hey, Archie, man. Hope you have a good day tomorrow. And I wish you a happy birthday, and I wish you many, many more. All right? Let's see here. Okay, guys. I got a lot of shit to do still. So, I will answer one more question. And then I got to get back to doing Fight Hub shit. So, all right, guys. Give me the last question. I'll go ahead and answer it. And this week, hopefully, we get to see Lomachenko. Miguel Cotto fights this weekend as well. Should be a good fight. We'll have video coverage of that fight week coming up Wednesday on the channel. And scrounge around, see if I can get an interview up with you guys today. So, Grim Reaper, man. I would love to answer that question, but I think people get pissed off if that's the last question. Okay? But no, I don't. Okay. Let's see here. Jello, cheapest boxing gym in SoCal, Los Angeles area, San Fernando Valley included. I don't know. Hey, you know what trips me out? Is the wild card actually only charges $50. Yeah, true story. In Hollywood. I know a lot of boxing gyms are usually not as expensive as the MMA gyms. MMA gyms are fucking expensive, man. Freaking $150, $200 a month. It's terrible. But boxing gyms are usually a little bit cheaper. Okay, the final question will go to Marcos. George Groves versus Chris Eubanks Jr. Who do you got, or how do you think the fight will play out? Gary M. I'll get to that question right now. Okay, $90 for your gym? Shit. Okay. Chris Eubanks versus George Groves. I think Chris Eubanks will win that fight. Even though they're the same age, George Groves has way more mileage than Chris Eubanks. He's been hurt. He's been knocked out in fights before. Even though Eubanks... No, you know what? No, Eubanks seems like he can punch hard. Even though I don't think it's not a as thudding of a punch as, say, a Carl Froch. Speed is power, and Chris Eubank has a hell of a lot of speed, and I think in that fight, the speed is going to overwhelm him. I'd kill him with my scythe. I think Eubanks' speed is going to overwhelm George Groves. I see him winning that fight pretty handily, actually, via decision, a comfortable decision, maybe like 8-4, to be honest. I just think Eubanks Jr. is in his moment right now, is in his physical prime. He has a lot of momentum going right now. He seems to be injury free as well. So he has a lot of things going for him in that fight. But the main thing is the speed, and I think the speed is gonna complicate the fight very, very much for George Groves. And I don't think he's going to be able to adjust to the speed. You know, fighting a speed fighter is a very difficult task to have, especially if you're slow. And George Groves is not a very fast fighter. He's kind of slow in plodding, actually. So, you know, how do you counter speed if you're fighting a guy who's really, really fast? Well, you got to take a look at what fighters from the past have done against similar styles. What, you know, that, and I always say that with fights that they announce, you know, look at the style of that fight and start looking for fights that have happened in the past already from 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, and see what happened in that fight. And that gives me a good, and should give you a good indication of how that fight could hypothetically play out, okay? So how do you counter a speed fighter? Two ways. Timing against a speed fighter. You got to pick up on their combinations, certain combinations they always throw, or certain habits. If they drop their hand after, you know, throwing a hook, after a 3-punch combination, or if they're throwing their jab a little low, it allows you to throw an overhand to land on them. That's been shown over the years to be a very effective way to deal with a speed fighter. The timing and counterpunching as well. The other thing, too, is take away their speed. How do you take away a guy's speed? You get him tired. How do you get a guy tired? You cut the ring off, punish the body. It's a few ways of dealing with a speed fighter. You punish the body, the hands start dropping. You can't be, even though you'll still keep some of your speed, you're not keeping your hands up as much because you're tired, you're breathing heavy. But, you know, if you got a guy who's well-conditioned, who's moving around the ring the whole time, even if, you know, you got to cut the ring off, because if you can't cut the ring off, your body attack's going to be futile. You're not going to be able to land any body shots because they're running circles around you. So, all right, guys, I got to get back to work, man. An hour and 20 minutes. Wow. Good stuff. There's a good chat today, guys. A good chat. And I apologize, Racer Nerd. No Dragon Ball Super chat. All I say is I'm glad they eliminated Ribberine, or whatever, the Ribberine people. I'm looking forward to Piccolo and Gohan fighting the two Namekins. I've been looking. I just want to see more of these fighters fight outside of Goku in these episodes of Dragon Ball Super. So, like, I'm happy seeing the androids fight. I want to see Gohan. I'm still hoping, man, that something crazy, stupid crazy happens with Gohan, where, like, he, I don't know, gets a new form or ends up just doing something really, really crazy. All right. Let's see here. But I am looking for, you know what? I think Piccolo's going to get eliminated, to be honest, from the tournament. Jiren woke up. Goku's tired. He's fighting those 3 dudes. Yeah, it's getting interesting. If you guys don't know what the hell I'm talking about, Dragon Ball Super. I fucking love Dragon Ball Super. All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta get work done. Hyped up on this coffee. I gotta get shit done. All right, we're on here every Monday, 1:30 Pacific time. Live chats every Monday, so get it itched in your brain. 1:30 every Monday. I will be here to recap the action. So next week, we will be recapping the Cotto versus Ali fight, as well as anything that happens, any random shit. This is just a random chat with you guys, okay? At FightUpTV, Twitter, Instagram. At Hey It's Marcos V. Come on, you guys, give me a follow, please. At Hey It's Marcos V. I need more followers, guys. Come on. All right. So, hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving weekend, and I hope you guys don't go too crazy on this Cyber Monday as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this FightUpTV live chat, where we recap the action last weekend. Hope you guys have a great and productive week, and get your asses back to the gym, all right? Burn all that pumpkin pie and turkey off, all right, guys? Okay, I'm out, skis. See you guys later.